to all the dear participants for AICTE sponsored ATAL Faculty Development Program organized by Department of Technology, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. For today's third session, the resource person is available with us, Dr. I.S. Udachan sir, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Technology, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Sir is available with us for inciting the topic on recent development in the gluten-free food products. Your hearty welcome, sir, for this session.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. I.S. Udachan sir has completed his undergraduate BTech from the UDCT Amravati, then MTech from the LIT Nagpur, and PhD completed from Shivaji University, Kolhapur. About the professional experience, he has near about 15 years of experience in teaching and research. He has guided more than 20 PG students as well, more than 60 UG students for various innovative research projects for UG as well PG. He has published more than 18 research publications in various reputed national and international journals. He has worked as a subject matter secretary and for the Marathi translation for the standard 11th and 12th books, which was published by the Bal Bharati on the subject food science and technology. He has participated in the many national and international conferences and published more than 32 papers in various workshops and seminars. He is a life member of various professional bodies like AFSTI Mysore, then International Association of Engineers, etc. He is a reviewer for the many reputed journals like Springer, etc. And right now he is one of the key person to conveying this function. So as all of us we know that right from the opening itself, sir is taking the painful efforts to make this event successful. And for said event, sir is working as a coordinator. So may I request to Dr. I.S. Udachan sir, please start the session. Over to Dr. I.S. Udachan sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Lokhande sir, for giving us such a nice information about me. So I am very much thankful to all the participants as they have accepted our proposals and they have participated in this one. They joined for this program. And even I am very thankful to all the resource persons too. So right now with respect to these subjects, so I am very much personally thankful to all these your participants. I think much participants have joined this system. So we will start this our today's session. So many times we'll just check whether we are able to see the screen. Screen testing. To the book. Okay, hope I think it is visible to you. So, since our main aim of this FDP is to know the recent trends in processing and preservation technologies. So, in this one, we have seen various lectures with respect to processings. We have seen the lectures how we can improve the preservations. And this one again, there are two more lectures with respect to these qualities or logs or such lectures. So, in line with that one, we will see about the recent developments in gluten-free food products. So, very fortunately, in the morning, we have the lecture from our friend, Dr. Ashutosh Inamdar, who is working internationally in technology. So, you can see that the whole concept is that with respect to wheat milling means everything is with respect to wheat, how the wheat is important. Okay. So with respect to that one, you can see that in our day-to-day life also, right now we are consuming so many food products. If you can remember when our day starts, so you can see that the mainly north or in south, you can find in the north you can say that you have the bread. Okay, so bread butter, that is the common word. So that bread, what the bread butter of the that nomenclature we generally use. So bread is how much important for the any human beings. So in that bread you can see that the wheat is there. Then you can see that the we are using the biscuits. So that is again made up of the wheat. If you go to the if you in the whole day you can see that we can see that the we consume the chapatis, then that is again wheat. So you can see that the our life is completely with respect to the food products right now, as our consumption pattern is also changing. Even though we are in the south or the north, we can feel that the water products we're having, since globalization is there, then changing patterns are there, husband and both are also working. So the food products which are increasing, food processing is increasing. So in that one major concentration is with respect to the products what we are there, they most of that one are having the gluten. Okay, so typically we will see what is gluten in this case. So what is so most commonly, so as we said that the all the products what we just discuss, so each product is right now important. In each product you will find that it is made up of the mainly of the gluten or barley or rice. Okay, such a main sources are there. So basically gluten is one of the protein, okay, which found in the cereal grains, which are the big, so which are those big threes. Okay, so this is the wheat, barley and the rye. So and just now what you can say that the all the products are water products we have discussed, so that is prepared from the wheat. And in the morning also we have seen the structure of the or any grains, it is mainly made up of the husk, endosperm, germ. Okay, the that is bran, outer layer is the bran. So in the endosperm this protein is present, or that protein is the mainly gluten. So this is the most typical structure of the wheat. So here you can see that the major part of the this wheat is made up of this the starchy endosperm, which is near about 80 to 85%. Okay, so and in this endosperm there is the protein present. Okay, so you can say that the whenever we are having the this any grain made up of that one, so gluten will be there. Okay, so that may that, so and this is why that is important, why we are discussing about the this gluten, because gluten is very much important whatever products we are consuming in our this products. Okay, so in that one, so basically it is the major functional ingredients which is required for the all type of the this day to day life food products. Okay, so and why we are using gluten, because in the morning if you can say that the milling lecture was there, in that milling we the sir has discussed so many products. In that one he was concentrating on the protein. Based on the proteins we can see that the based on that one that application will be decide whether that can be used for the bread or the biscuits. So that is important because the whole structure of any product is mainly because of the gluten. So what we can see that the this the viscoelastic product, gluten is the functional ingredient in all these foodstuffs. Okay, which is known for this viscoelasticity. So that product, bread, biscuits or whatever be there, that elasticity, that structure, for that one we require this gluten. Okay, and why word gluten is there, it is originated from the Latin. Okay, so that Latin word is the gluten, which means the glue, which binds the things. So so that word comes because of this glue. Okay, in the Latin gluten means glue, and in our day to day activities we use this glue to make the structure or make the stick the products. Okay, so gluten is mainly known for its elastic properties. mainly in case of the bread. Okay, the one example is given in case of the bread. You can see that the bread is able to rise, okay, and it able to develop the air bubbles. So that can be happen because of the gluten. We will see that working laterwards. So if you just take the example of the bread, so whatever that structure is there, so that structure or increasing rising of that bread, which is one of the major step of the bread, that is only because of the gluten. Likewise, if you take the example of the biscuits, there also, if you are getting the structure, why we are getting the particular structure, if you can see that the while consuming the biscuits, we can see that we will not have it if it is not properly that texture. If you don't have that properly crunch, then we will not accept that one. Even you can see that there are so many branded biscuits or locally available biscuits. Even though since many of the we are from the food technologists, we can prepare the many types of the bread biscuits, but what that particular brand we are getting, like Parleji or Britannia based or even Patanjali based, whatever any company you are consuming, you are accepting because we are getting that particular texture, then only we are accepting the things. So that what structure we are getting, that is only because of the gluten which is present in that raw material, mainly that is the wheat. Okay, so that is how this is important. We are getting the functional property, that structure, only because of that one. Okay, likewise you can take the example of these extruded foods like pasta, noodles, all these things. Again, there is the importance is that if you see the pasta, it's the Italian products, and since that when it is started from that one, you can say the wheat is the main product. Wheat is the core product in that one. Whatever we are consuming as the pasta or the noodles, what feeling we are getting, okay, when we consume that time, that qualities, that particular qualities of the pasta with respect to its adhesiveness, its hardness, that means what we expect from the pasta or noodle is that it should have the high hardness but low adhesiveness. And while developing what when we work, when we prepare this pasta, that time what different characteristics we measure is like that the low, how much is the cooking loss. Okay, so when we use the raw material core control, like which is called as a control, which is mainly based of the wheat, so it is having the less cooking loss. So this important properties, and another thing is that the tolerance to overcooking, all these properties what we prepare in any types of the pasta or the noodles, that we are getting only because of the gluten which is present in the wheat, which is the main product, which is the main product of the main raw material of this pasta. Likewise, you can see about the this cakes, muffins, any products, whatever you are feeling, no, that main structure what we are getting, that is only because of the gluten. So you can say the this whatever this n type n number of the this bakery products or this pasta noodles or all the new products, there you can find that these are the major three: wheat, barley, rye. So you can see that the just now, so where we can found this gluten, bread, crackers, cereals, pasta, baked goods, everywhere, most of the products we will find the this gluten, because mainly we will have the wheat as the source. Okay, this may be again found in the processed meat, seasonings, this granola bars, chips, candies. So everywhere you can find the gluten which is there, who is giving the that particular structure. Okay, so you can see that the grains from which it is coming is the this wheat. we can see at the various varieties of this wheat. Okay, then rye, barley, triticale, these are the main grains from which we are getting the glutens, which is going to our body through these grains. So, what are the different products you can find at the bread, flatbreads, pasta, noodles, cakes, crackers, biscuits, pies, pastries, some breakfast cereals, breadcrumbs, then the vegetarian meat substitutes, brewer's yeast, malt such as malt extract, syrup, flavoring, or the vinegar. Everywhere you will have the source of this mainly barley or this wheat or the rye. So from that source, gluten is going to our body. Then foods. These are the foods through which that particular gluten is going to our body. Even the beverages are also there, since we know that the cereals are the major raw material for the beers. Okay, so through that one, mainly barley, what we are talking. So from that one, we are having this alcoholic beverages, and from that one, that gluten will be consumed by the all of us. So now we can see how this gluten works in this case. Okay, so we will just have one video regarding this one. Okay, so in this case, so gluten is the major one, which is having the main two. These are the source: wheat, rye, barley, and the oat. Then, what are the major components of the gluten? Is the prolamins and the glutenins, which is giving the structure to the products. So here you can see that these are the mainly thickening. This acts as the thickening agent, this acts as the binding agents, this acts as the main protein supplements. And where we can found that we have seen these are the bread, pastries, pastas, most of the processed foods we are getting the gluten. Okay, so through that one mainly we are getting this one. Now, what is the problem that prolamins in case of the wheat? This is the major one, prolamins, which is mainly because of the gliadins. In case of the rye, this is the sicalins. In case of the barleys, it is the hordins. So gluten's from the difference can be different, but a person may react different to all these sources. Okay, so that is why we are, because there are the peoples who have allergic to this one, or who are affected by these sources, prolamins, which can be considered as the other problems which are because of the wheat. Okay, so what are the different issues because of these glutens? Because since just now we are seeing that the gluten is so good that each product that we are having is because of the glutens. But if you see the eating pattern, if you check the various cases, that time it is found worldwide that there are the peoples who are suffering from this gluten. That is why we are discussing about that type of the solution. This type of the gluten, again we can categorize that as the wheat allergy, or the celiac disease, or the non-celiac gluten sensitivity. So broadly, what we can say that what is wheat allergy is in this case, the issues with the wheat only. So name is the wheat allergy. And what is happening in this case is or how we can define this one is that it is the immune response to one or the more protein which is found in the wheat. Okay, so in this case, the thing is that the issue is particularly only by name wheat only. Okay, and what about the gluten sensitivity, and what happens when the wheat, when that particular And mainly this you can find that this wheat allergy is in the children's, okay, of the 6 to 7 years children's who may who may face with the wheat allergy. And what are the different symptoms that we can find whether it is having that one? Definitely this is not the job of us. This is definitely by the medical practitioners, doctors, who will define all these things, to whom we can see. But as the symptoms, what we can see that the what common symptoms we can find in case of the wheat allergy is that the diarrhea, bloating, that means choking of the things, then abdominal pain, that is because of the bloating, then nausea, vomiting, itchy eyes or the throats, itchy throats, trouble breathing. So we may find that like right now some of these symptoms are with respect to corona too, but you can see that these are the last 10-20 years you are finding, or even more than that one, this type of the allergy they are finding. So these are the some symptoms when we can think that the when that the child should be bring to the, or he should be taken to the doctor. What is happening to that particular kid when you are finding such type of the symptoms? So that type of the allergy is called as the wheat allergy. So since the name itself states that it is the wheat allergy, not the gluten allergy, because in case of the gluten, what we have found that there are the wheat is not the only wheat is the not only source. There are more than that wheat source like barley, rye, all these things are there. So why we are calling it as the wheat allergy is that it is only because of the wheat when it is consumed by the children or any persons who is having this type of the allergy. So how we can control this allergy is that by eliminating the wheat from the diet. Okay, so that is the how we can treat this wheat allergy. Okay, then you can see that the one more is the, then again next part is the uh, celiac disease or non-celiac disease. So how we can differentiate between the celiac disease and the non-celiac disease, or that is also called as the gluten sensitivity. So wheat, if only wheat is the issue, wait a second. If wheat is the only issue, that will be called as the wheat allergy. Then, except that one, if it issues with the gluten, so that will be called as the gluten sensitivity or the celiac disease. And again, there we can find the difference between the celiac disease and the gluten sensitivity. In both the cases, issues with the gluten, but when we can call it as the gluten sensitivity is that when there is the intolerance to the gluten without damage to the small intestine. So that can be called as the gluten sensitivity or non-celiac disease. And when we can call it as the celiac disease, that when there is the issue with the autoimmune system, okay, when there is the issue with the small intestine, so that can be called as the celiac disease. So in this case, major concentration is with the trouble with the small intestine. Okay, whereas in case of this gluten sensitivity, it is less damage or without damage to the small intestine. So that is can be considered as the gluten sensitivity. Okay, so in this case, the celiac non-celiac gluten sensitivity is that the intolerance to the celiac disease and the wheat allergy must be ruled out before a diagnosis of the non-celiac sensitivity. Okay, so in this case, how again you can find out the symptoms. So in all these three cases, we can find the what are the common symptoms is the diarrhea, then bloating, then the abdominal pain. So it is common in all these three. And what additionally we can find that in case of the celiac disease at the when we will check that one, when it will be completely diagnosed, that time we may find that the small intestine is damaged in the celiac disease people, whereas in this gluten sensitivity we will find that it is not damaged. And thing is that we can cover we can control this one, but it is more difficult in case of the celiac disease. In both the cases, we need to eliminate the gluten from the diet, but celiac disease is more serious than the gluten sensitivity product. So in this case, the complete food must be free from the gluten. Okay, so you can just imagine, and it is not that the definitely the number is less, but it is increasing. But importantly, you can, if you see the various research papers, or if you go through the various journals or everywhere, where you can find that there are the so many research papers with respect to gluten. You can find that the so many products are there in the market which is related to the gluten. People are concerned with about the gluten. Okay. So you can just imagine what will be the issue if that person is having the issues with the gluten. Okay, because it is not that they are in our home or outside the home. What will happen, because how to have the food without the chapati, how we can have the how we can how will be our working life, because without bread and biscuits, right now we are so used to all these items that it is difficult to live. So so it is the completely some sort of the completely problem issue. You can see that what we will do if wheat is having the issues. Okay, so the world is concerned about this one. They are thinking about how we can do this one, how we can work on this one, so that we can get the products which will be like the wheat. Because the person is having the sugar, we eliminate the sugar or we control the sugar. So we need to control this gluten. Okay, if it is having the wheat allergy, we need to control this wheat allergy. That means we need to control the wheat. Okay, so it is this I had taken from the website of that medical practitioner. There, from that one you can see this information. The number is increasing. This is not the outside the India. It is within the India also. The number is less, but 1% of the Indian population is higher than that. Okay, and just now I discussed that that may be the confusion. Wheat and the allergy and the celiac disease are the same. So not there is the strictly there is a difference between the celiac disease and the wheat allergy. Wheat allergy is the immunoglobulin mediated allergy, which occurs when child's body produces antibodies to proteins in the wheat. Okay, so it is mainly in case of the child's which body produces antibodies to the proteins in the wheat. That means that antibodies are fighting with the proteins. Okay, whereas in case of celiac disease, it is the lifelong process. It is that means whole life they need to be control on this wheat. Okay, so it is the body's immune system which responds to the protein in the wheat. Okay, which is mainly gluten, that can be called as the celiac disease. And you can see that the celiac disease progresses over the time. As the time passes, it is increasing. It will increase because it is mainly attacking on the small intestine. Okay, which gets damaged and which leads to the poor absorption of the nutrients. And since it is damaging the working of the nutrients, that is resulting into the weight loss of the products, diet like the products. So there are the various symptoms. When you may find that the peoples may be around you. Okay, in the cities such peoples are more, and if you see the data, so such a peoples are more in worldwide. The number is increasing, and in India the number is more in the north than the south. That type of the also data is there. Okay, because what commonly we can find at that there, the most of the products which are there in the north is mainly wheat based as compared to the south. There you can find that it is mainly non wheat or the rice based products. The morning starts of the south and morning start of the north is different, even though globalization whole thing is there, but traditional also you can find at the south Indian food and the north Indian food there is the difference. In case of the north India, major concentration or major products are the wheat based or the gluten based, whereas in case as compared to the south you can find that the rice base is there, then banana base is there, banana flour is there. So such a products are there in the south as compared to the north. So when particular there are the different papers where you can find at the with respect to the particular analysis of the products, that particular survey. So in that one it is found that the it is more in the north as compared to the south, mainly because of the this eating patterns. Okay, and other symptoms like diseases, celiac disease like diarrhea, poor weight, short height, anemia. So you can say that the since it is hampering the nutrients absorption in the body, will have the problem with our development. So it will result into the poor weight, short height, animal like the problems. Okay, so even I have met my friend when we are having discussing that time, particularly I was also, that means how many people are there in India or the celiac disease. So but it is only that he was with us and he told that it is too terrible, too difficult when we have the this type of the problems, because mainly many it takes much time. It is difficult to find out whether what is happening to our body, why our weight is why there is the weight loss. So since it is not common, so people they do not go with the diagnosis of this celiac disease, but they are facing the problem with the having the food stomach problem or the weight problem or the this height problem. Okay, so that time if it is find out, so we may find that it is because of the celiac disease. Okay, and here you can see that the celiac disease do not get the immediate symptoms which are seen with the wheat allergy. So that is again another problem. If you check out that one, so wheat allergy, so since it is a in case of the children's, you can find the rashes. Okay, you can find that abdominal cramps, nausea, vomiting, hay fever. Such type of the problems we can find, and that may be diagnosed easily. But in case of the celiac disease, it takes much time, and we do not think about that one. So that times it may uh, attack more on our small intestine, and that may result into the less absorption of the nutrients. Ultimately that may result into the problems with our body and resulting into the weight and the height or the anemia. Okay, so since we will try to understand, I am trying to explain this simply because there may be the peoples who have the much deep knowledge about all this our body structure, but as a food technologist we want to just think about it. So what is the issue? We are not that particularly in as a doctor or the such line, but we'll try to just have what is happening that one. So you can see that it is mainly a digestive disorder that damage the small intestine, which is triggered by the eating foods containing the gluten that we have discussed. So you can say that this is the peak of the our small intestine. You can find this one. This is our main small intestine. In this case, as we have just discussed, that the issues with is in the small intestine. So in the small intestine you can find the normal villi. So here you can find the why, how it is working and how its structure. Okay, so when this is the normal villi, so you can see that its height, you can find the difference. Okay, whereas this is the when it is damaged. Okay, this is the in case of the celiac disease. You can find that the height of this villi is completely broken down to the smaller size. So you can see that the when this, so it is damaged, so it recovering is difficult. Okay, So the only way is to control the diet as compared to the other ways. Here we need to diagnose the things as early as possible, and second thing is to whole thing completely depends upon the diet. That means we need to have the food which will be completely gluten free. Okay, either in home, outside home, during traveling, during working, whatever you consume, so that time it should not have the gluten there. And please keep in mind that this is with respect to mainly celiac disease peoples or this wheat allergy peoples, not for the common peoples. The number is right now very less. So it is not to create the panic. Okay, what we can see during this corona period last 1 or 2 years. So main right now the thing is that the create the panic and sell the things, so that is not the aim. But as the one of the recent trends in the various products, and in each case there need to be some sort of the work, because food is such a thing. What you can say the yesterday also you can say the functional food, then nutraceutical foods. There are the various types of that is the major part of the food. We need to, that means instead of just having the medicines, we are thinking about the how we can solve the issues with the having the food. So in that way we can think there is no any, there is no any reason for me to create the panic. Okay, this is just an as an informative information purpose, and mainly if the person is deceased, how we can do, how we can we will think in as a food technologist. Peoples are there, market is there, so what is their issue and how we can solve with our food. Okay, as a food technologist we are thinking. Okay. So that is the main thing. I'm not any that pharmacy persons, or not I'm a doctor, so that create the this panic and want to sell something. So no such a, intention is there. But to as a food technologist, if issue is there, what type of the food we can give so that this will be so that we can solve that issues, how we can help those peoples. Because even though single person is there, we need to think about that on how we can survive. Okay, how we can make him to survive. Because right now even the pet animals also, street animals also, or the any animals also, any food also, every time we think that the how we can make that particular things to be survived. Okay, so in this case celiac disease is one of that one which is definitely increasing. You can see the number. So in that case what is happening is the with respect to this this is the inside view. You can see that these are the various nutrients in this case with the this green things. You can say that these are the nutrients which are uh, percolated by the this are which are absorbed by the this intestine. Okay, so when these villi are disturbed or it are completely cropped by the because of the celiac disease, so the nutrients will be not absorbed by the body. Okay, so what is happening is that the villi becomes more damaged and becomes the flat. You can find that the flatness of this villi, so this may affect the absorption of the nutrient. Since there is issue with the absorption of the nutrients, so we will face the issues which will be there because of the not absorbing these nutrients. Okay, so we will result into the weight loss and the uh, our day to body development. Okay, so just to have the more information regarding this celiac disease, what is the clinical practice. Okay, this is more with respect to the this doctors and that stream, but we will try to understand what is the way they are defining or they are diagnosing this celiac disease. Okay, so clinical space, when there is the when we find the such people is he is having the issues, so he need to be diagnosed. So you can see that there are the mainly two ways by when we apply the ours is the normal diet, so it is diagnosed by this way. Okay, so if it is issues, so you can say that then again you can say for the children's, whether it is the wheat or the only celiac, non-celiac. Okay, then the gluten, we can give the normal diet, then you can decide, then gluten free diet will be given to that one, then HLA DQ2, the test is carried out, then if it is positive or the negative, if it is negative, good, so that can be considered as the no celiac. Okay, and if it is a positive, then maybe the because of the gluten. Okay, again there is the research on this part, but that is again different stream. There are the particularly research on that one, but our research or our work is with respect to food products, food processing, how we can, so what we looking at the, so issues with the gluten. So as a food technologist, I would think that how I can prepare the product which will be gluten free. Okay, taste and what type taste, how it works, so that may be the limit outside our limits, or why we need to have our put our whole heart in that one. What we can see that the yes, it is the problem with the gluten, so I need to prepare the products with respect to gluten free products. Okay, so you can see that the as the number is going on as per, so you can find that the many gluten free products are there. So what is the limitations as per the FAO or even FSI also, you can say that as per the FAO, Food and Drug Administrations, this gluten to be called as the gluten free food, it should be less than the 20 parts per million of the gluten. Okay, 10 mg gluten per day. Okay, study found that the 10 milligrams of gluten per day, that is the threshold. Okay, if the gluten level is more than 10 milligram per day in that person, he will suffer he with the intestine. Okay, he will damage the small intestines. Okay, mainly with the celiac disease. And now you can imagine, it is not kg, it is milligram. So it is, you can see that the 350th piece of the bread, it is just a crumb, not the whole bread or the biscuits. It is 350th part of the bread, only that much part it is allowed to him. So that means it must be completely blocked. Okay, that gluten must be blocked. And even when we are selling the food product as the gluten free, the level must be below 10 milligram. Okay, and even as per the FSSI, you can see that the it must be below 20 milligram of gluten per kg. Okay, you can see that in our India also there are the rules and regulations are developed already, and FSI is working on that one. And as per the FSI, you can say the product to be called as the gluten free food in codex of the European Union, the product shall not have more than 20 milligram per kg of gluten. And as per the FSI, it is mentioned that the gluten level shall be below 20 milligram per kg. Okay, then and then only we can stamp the food product as the gluten free food. And thing is that the we must avoid the cross contamination. That means during the preparation of that product, that equipments, that means through the equipments or through the other material, through the packaging, by any way, that gluten should not be come in contact with the gluten free food. Okay, so it should avoid the cross contamination also. Okay, so there should be separate storage while preparing, storing this gluten free food. The equipment should be kept away from the gluten containing foods while preparing the gluten free foods. So these are the key points which are pointed for the food business operators who is claiming that the material is gluten free food. Okay, here you can see that the what are the what are the different sources from where you can say there is the cross contacts. Okay, as just now I said, the various equipments, so floor shifters, then contaminants, airborne wheat flour, cutting boards. By anyway, by use of any equipments, it should not be interacted with the gluten, because the person who is suffering from the celiac is so sensitive about that gluten is that the he must have the food less than 10 milligram. Okay, so when the less than 10 milligram is the concept, so that time you can say that the not any type of the cross contaminant should not be there, so it completely it should be avoided. So as per the law also it is mentioned, and cross contaminant completely blocked, equipment should be completely free from the any glutens. Okay, and then only you will be called as that product can be called as the gluten free food. Okay, so like the number wise, what you can see that the globally this disease is increasing. It is 1 in 133 people in the United States. That data may be again updated, or even what we are thinking is in the India is that the number is near about 1 in 120 people. Okay, you can find that this there is one particular website is there. Dr. Hora is there who is working on this celiac disease in India. He this particular slide, this part is from that his website. Okay, so he is completely working on that part. So as per that one, you can see that the major points or major factors which are resulting into the celiac disease is that the presence of the gene. Okay, so which gene is there? So 99% of the celiac disease patients all over the world carry the gene identified as the HLA-DQ2. Okay, so in this case, even the 30 to 40% population of the India, the world carry one or the both of the genes, out of which 1 to 5% are expected to develop celiac disease. So this is the main gene. If it is present over there, so that will be result into the celiac disease. And second reason is the consumption or overconsumption of the gluten based food. And another thing is that during our body that may trigger any time. A trigger initiates the disease at a particular time, but has not been ascertained so far. Okay, so this is susceptible through the including various infections, viral infections, emotions, surgical trauma, and many other things. So, but the thing is that it is not any foreign disease. It is getting developed in India also. So we need to take care. So because of that one, you can find that the various products are there. Even FSA has put the order, or he has put the particular norms for the this gluten product to be called as a gluten free food. And this is one of, you can find more than that one, but just to highlight things, the trend is increasing. If you go to the any website, you can find that even if you when you check the any product in the uh, that means any malt. Okay, there you can find out that product is stamped with the gluten free foods, particularly such type of the foods which is exported or which is imported. So there we can find that the gluten free word is specially mentioned over there. You can see that this is one of the peak where there is the whole section is there. And if you see the trends, or if you see the that one, no, in more than this India, outside peoples are right now are too much concerned with the gluten free foods. You can say that based on that one, this market is increasing, because everything depends upon the acceptance by the, or the what is there in the mind of the consumer. So when he has that type of the thing in his mind, accordingly he used to, or that may be the that consumption trend, that may be because of the over marketing, that may be because of that various strategies, or that may be because of the psychology of the peoples. basically people actually the persons if you are actually number is less, but they are thinking in that way that it is creating the problem with them. But definitely if you see the trend, the market is increasing too much from 5.6% to 8.3%. Okay, so it will be increased by 2025 from 2020, and present also you can find that. Okay. So here it is the gluten-free products comparison. When the orange shows the 2019, okay, 2019, whereas how it will be there in 2027, you can find that there is the definitely increase in the gluten-free products. Okay, so what we can think about this one is the what would be called as the so the as we have seen that the only treatment is the gluten free food. So you can say that the in this case diet is the important one, and that is particularly gluten free diet. So even you can see that the when I gone through various research papers also, that time also in it is not just to just 5 or 10 years since 1950s, gluten free food, that concept is there. Okay, so in this case when that time number may be less. Okay, so it was found that this is mainly because of the wheat, that there are other sources also like wheat and the rye flours. Then it is observed that it is not wheat, right, this is also the barley which is there. Okay, so from 1950, then 1976, then later also what is there, that may be also having the issues. So again there is the research, that means what with the pollution free source will be safe for the celiac patient. So since it is the continuously you can find the issues with the persons, so research is continuously going on right now. Also if you google that one, you can find that there are so many, not google, if you go to google scholar, you can find that the latest papers are there with respect to gluten free products. And when research and all these things is there, so so that product will be there. And we can find that both the things, not only the research is there, but in the market you can find that the stamped products, you can find that there are so many products where people are working, they are trying to make it available right now. If you see that one, if you see in the metro cities and cities like or in the village you will not find this gluten free. But if you see the cities like the Kolhapur and the there may be the rare cases, but in case of the Pune, Mumbai, you can find that the cases are also more. In metros, the cases are more because of the our day-to-day life, how we are behaving and how we are consuming. We can find the difference in our body. And the thing is that so based on that one, since they are more connected, or they think that they are more connected with the national and international people, so what they are consuming through the Facebook, Twitter and all these things, so that comes to their mind. But it is now available in the this metro cities as compared to the small cities. So that is the gluten-free diet. But as compared when we target or concentrate on celiac disease peoples, so it is most important to have the gluten-free diet. So while thinking about this gluten-free diet, so what are the three? So there are three important points or three principal points to be to claim as the gluten-free diet, or that gluten-free diet must be. It is that the first thing is to avoid the products prepared from the wheat, barley, or the rye, or even the uncontrolled or contaminated oats. So first principle is to completely avoid wheat, definitely wheat, barley, and the rye. This must be completely stopped. Okay, must be completely removed. That is first principle. Second thing is that we need to think wheat is not there. What we can use. Okay. So right now again we have compared already that the south and the north. So you can see that the even in the north also there are what alternative we can do, what alternative sources we can use while developing the products. So we can see that the consuming products prepared from the natural gluten-free foods like rice, maize, sorghum, then banana based, then soya based. So such type of the products that need to be consumed or that need to be strictly used in the gluten-free diet. And importantly, just know that as per the FSI or the FAO or any international national bodies who are working with the controlling this food quality safety management. Okay, so there you can say to be called as the gluten-free food products, it should be less than the 20 milligram. And when want to give the gluten-free diet, so we must check that label whether it is gluten-free or not. Then and then only we need to consume that product. So three principles: avoid wheat, barley, rye. Then try to think about what the natural sources available. Okay, or only so like you can get the same biscuit or the pastas, whatever may be, but instead of made by the wheat, it should be prepared by the rice, maize, sorghum, or any combinations. So that we should give to the that particular celiac disease persons. Okay, and if you are just purchasing the things, if you are just taking the bread, so we need to think whether it is gluten free. That can be checked by the label which is posted on that product. Okay, and that should be given to be gluten free diet or that celiac disease paper. So in line with that one, we can say the what are the natural sources which can be used to prepare the gluten-free diet. So you can say the fruits, vegetables, meat and poultry, fish, dairy, beans and legumes and nuts. So that can be used as the naturally gluten-free foods. Then others are the buckwheat or the kuna, then millets. Uh, so most commonly what you can find at the many research paper or many gluten food products is the rice. Again you can see that the broken rice or the brown rice. Then you can find that there are the sorghum based products, there are the soy based products, potato based products. Okay, so these are the various things, various grains that can be used which are naturally available. Just a minute, someone is speaking.
Dear participants, kindly mute yourselves.
Okay,
Everyone should mute yourselves.
if it is anyone is unmuted, please mute it. Okay, just a second. Okay. Hello. Excuse me. I was able to. Okay, so you can say that these are the various sources which can be used, which can be used recording channel is there. Okay, so you can say that these are the various sources naturally available that can be used while preparing the gluten-free food or gluten-free diet. But in so now with respect to the market and all these things, how we can think as a food technologist, how we can think as an Indian. So in that case, you can think see that the India is having the pull of this naturally gluten-free food sources. Okay, so you can see that the grains. You can see that we have the so many festivals. Okay, just now you can say the last month we have the Makar Sankranti. That times all over the India you can say that there are the various festivals, but in each case you can find that it is prepared, or that is our harvesting time and all these things are there. But that time you can say that what are the different sources which are available as a Indian or in India. So like jowar, bajra, ragi, you can find out the as a soybeans, you can find out the bananas, and in case of the fruits and vegetables. Okay, so many alternatives are there in India. And good thing is that the why we can have the less panic about this celiac disease right now is that the we are traditionally we used to have the other foods. Right now we are again just having only wheat in our day-to-day life. We are just having the only that wheat base. But before that one, we can say that in our dairy food we have the different alternatives also. Not only the wheat, we used to have the jowar. Okay, we used to have the bajra, ragi. Okay, so right now also we can see that the instead of just putting full concentration on only single grain, we can think about the use of the various grains, so which will be helpful to us to control this type of the disease. Okay, that is one thing. And another thing is that the right now as a uh, development of the gluten-free food, since India is rich in so many varieties of the gluten-free sources, so we can utilize this one, and we can make the gluten-free food, and which has the huge market available globally, so that can be used, prepared and exposed or exported. Okay, likewise you can see that the just now another one is the fruits and vegetables. So again we have there are the n number of the varieties available in India, so that can be utilized. And by utilization of the various combinations of these sources, we can develop various this gluten free products. So not only as a for the celiac disease, but as a market also we can think about that one, and as a food technology also we can think about this one, and we can utilize combine this various combinations, will be ultimately which ultimately help us to develop the gluten free products. Okay, so in this case you can say that now we'll think about the how so we need to prepare the gluten free products, but now we can think about the how we can to work on this one, how we can control this one. So in there you can see that this is particular slide I have taken particularly because this is how we can correlate our this FDP and all these things. You can see that in the morning only, Dr. Inamdar sir, Ashutosh Inamdar sir has discussed regarding the processing of this wheat. So here he particularly highlighted that to make the various type of the product like bread, biscuit, or this even chapatis or the pasta. So anything mainly depend upon the protein content. Based on the protein, we can call it as that particular wheat as the hard wheat or the soft wheat, and accordingly that product will be there and that can be used. So that whole things the protein content is high, so we can call it as the strong. Okay, and that is more beneficial for the bread. And when there it is soft, when the protein content is less, we will call it as the weak gluten strength, but it has the application in biscuit and the cake. Whereas in case of the chapati, it is medium and extensible, protein content 10 to 13. Whereas in case of to prepare the pasta products, the protein content should be more than 13%. That means strong. So each thing depends upon the gluten. Now, and because it is giving its structure to that product, so now we need to think about how we can. But and right now what we have discussed with this celiac disease people, or this wheat allergy peoples, or the non-celiac disease, and most seriously about the celiac disease, we need to control this consumption pattern whole life without wheat. Okay, so because his life is important, in that case we need to develop the product which will be comparable with the wheat based products but without gluten. So our work, our product should be such a way that we should get those properties of the bread, biscuits, or the pasta, chapatis, or cake, muffins, or anything. But we need to get that type of the properties, but without the gluten. And gluten is the main hero of this whole product. So in this case, so that gluten role is most important. We have seen that in the case of the gluten, it is mainly gliadin and glutenin who is there in the wheel called as the gluten. When it is added with water, or when water absorbs, it binds together to get that elastic network which is called as the gluten. And this is giving, and when it is more while preparing the dough, you can see that we are more kneading, more mixing. As there is more mixing and the kneading, that elastic network becomes more stronger and more elastic. And this elasticity and its strength of that structure, that is useful to prepare the mainly with respect to baked products. Similarly, this is important for the pasta like products, it is important for the cake like products. Okay, so this strong gluten network is the key role, that is because of this gluten. Here you can see that the structure. Okay, so now we want to make the products which will be free from the gluten. So we will take the one example of the bread. Okay, so in this case, this is the whole chemistry of the bread, how we can prepare the bread. So stepwise, to be called as to prepare the basic bread, you can say that the first step is to mix the various ingredients. Again, important one is the flour, then water and the salt. When we are mixing, so then this is the basic wheat, addition of the water, we are getting the this disulfide bond formation, that form mixing with the water, and we get this gluten structure. Okay, so and you can see that the while start of making the bread, we start with the flour, water. Okay, so that means we are making the gluten structure. Okay, so this is the viscoelastic network which traps the gas. Okay, then second thing is to knead the dough. So during the kneading, you can feel that the as the flour contains the starch. Okay, just a second, there is the continuously one beep is there. Just need to check what is happening to that one. ओके राहू दे मग चालू करतो झालं ना मोठं झालं okay so instead of just solving that issue, we'll just carry on because it is difficult to. Okay, so you can see that this is with respect to second part of the second step of the any bread, kneading the dough. So doing that one, you can set the this flour which contain, mainly flour contain the endosperm and starch is there, that we know. Okay, so the flour contain this starch which is connected with the sugar. So here you can see that there is conversion of the glucose to the maltose through the maltase enzymes. Okay, and second thing, the next thing is to addition of the yeast, and this yeast mainly help us to for the this is single cell fungi that one which convert the sugars in the bread into the carbon dioxide. The CO2 is released So that is trapped in this one, and through the small bubbles. So you can see that that whole leavening is there, and we can see that the main part of that bread is that one. Okay, there is the leavening of that one. Okay. So in this case, you can say that these are the various ingredients to, and here you can say the to be called as the gluten free, we need to add the xanthan gum. Okay, so now we can say that the here in case of the bread, this part is the most important, as right now we are concentrating on the gluten. Okay, so without gluten you will not get the proper dough. Okay, if you are using any alternative, so immediately what structure, what bindness you are getting in the dough, it is too difficult to get that structure. Okay, so as you can see, this gas is trapped in the gluten structure, and that results into the leavening of the product, and we are getting the shape of the bread because of that one. Okay, so when we are thinking to work, okay, when we want to develop the work, that time we need to think about the what alternative we can do. Okay, so the what are the most common, because as we are thinking that the structure is only because of the gluten, we need to think about the what alternative sources we can use. So most basic concept to be prepare the gluten-free products is the we must avoid the gluten-based flours. That means we must avoid the wheat flour, most commonly wheat, barley, rye. So what are the alternative flours which can be used for the gluten-free products is the rice, corn, sorghum, or the various millets that can be used as the basic gluten-free flours. And there are, we can also use the other pseudo cereals like amaranth, quinoa, or the buckwheat, which can be used. And to get the structure, we need to have add the starches too. And again we can think about the use the alternative or the natural sources of the starch, like rice flour starch. We can use the corn flour and corn starch, potato flour, potato starch, cassava starch. Okay, so these are the alternatives that can be used because we want the role of the wheat. Okay, but without wheat, so we need to think about its structure, how we can get the structures which we can get with the glutens. So alternative flours we can use the starches. Okay, and we can use the legume flour also, like soya, chickpea, cowpea. Okay, so these are the various flours which can be used while developing the gluten free products. Okay, even we can use the flax seeds, chia seeds, chestnuts. Okay, so as a flour we can think about what alternative we can use. So these are the different sources that can be used while developing the gluten-free products. That means wheat flour will be completely blocked, and but instead of wheat we are using the rice, sorghum, and all these things. But when you develop the products or you try to develop the product, you will definitely find that the you will not get the structure at all. We need the some hydrocolloids. Okay, even I have developed that products, gluten free products. So when we have gone through this process, that time the very first structure is that the you will not get the, that means I have prepared the pasta, so definitely pasta will not have the pasta, it will be immediately get dissolved in the water, it will not, it will be completely ruptured, and you will not call it as the pasta. So you will not get those characteristics of the pasta. Okay, so we need to think about the what more we can use. That means flour is one thing, we can select the proper flours, but additional functional ingredient, additional additives is definitely necessary. So in that case, you can find that the most common or most basic which can be used is the hydrocolloids. So what are these different hydrocolloids that can be used is the guar gum, xanthan gum, then agarose, okay, then hydroxypyl methyl cellulose, pectin. These are the different additives that can be used, and again its label will be there. when we are started from that one, it was started from 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2. In this way, we used to add in the rice flour or even other combination like rice, soya, and banana. Okay, so floor is the first part. Second thing is to get the structure is another part. Okay, so we need to think about the what level we can use. Later slides we will see the what are the different works I have done by the many peoples. There you can say the hydrocolloid is one of the key component which will help us to get the structure of the uh, gluten, what we can get from the gluten. If you want to get that one, we need to play with this hydrocolloids. Plus we can think about the fiber fortification, so that technique can be also used to get the structure. Okay, like rice bran, pseudo cereals, that can be even unripe banana flour. Okay, in my paper you can find that the unripe banana flour is there, which is used. So that is giving us that particular structure which will be there for the gluten free foods. Okay, and plus you can see that we can also work about the various enzymes that can be also used for this one. So the what are the different enzymes that can be utilized is the transglutaminase, protease, lipase, cyclodextrins. Okay, then glycosyl transferase. Okay, and another techniques which can be used is the lactic acid bacteria or the sourdough. That means in that one lactic acid bacteria and yeast will develop the dough which can be used as a source for the development of the gluten paper. One more technique is the high pressure technology. At the end, we will end this slide at the all these 3 points you will find enzymes, lactic acid, or one more technique is the HPP. You typically know the high pressure technology. In the high pressure technologies that the to control the microorganisms we increase the pressure, and because of the increase in pressure there is the destruction of the microorganisms and ultimately that improve the shelf life of the product. That is what the from the first lecture which is delivered by our professor US Annapure sir. He has given much information about the various non-thermal techniques. Okay, so that HPP technique can be used to develop the gluten-free foods. Okay, so you can see that the all the lectures and everything is interrelated too. Then just now I said the first thing is to work on the gluten-free flours. Second thing is to work on the hydrocolloids. And third thing is to what are the different sources, what are the different techniques that can be utilized is that the enzymes, lactic acid bacteria, or the HPP technology. So you can see that the first part gluten-free grains, what we can use is the problem is with the wheat, rye, barleys, okay, and you take and the oat. And what we can think is that the we need to use the alternative like gluten-free grains, amaranth, rice, sorghums, legumes, millets, corns. All these grains we can use to prepare the gluten-free diet. Okay, so these are the some of the images where you can find at the how the gluten-free flours. Okay, so you can set the rice, corn, sorghum flour, amaranth flour, oat flour. So this can be used to prepare the various products. Not only for the bakery products, you can prepare the any gluten-free food products using these flours, combination of these flours. Okay, but when we'll combine the things, that time we need to think about the mainly sources. Secondly, we can think about the what nutrients you. So what my another intention is that the market is thinking about the gluten free food. With addition to that one, while using these combinations, we will have the nutrition rich food. That means rice we are consuming, so it have the some benefits. We can combine with the soybean, we can combine with the banana, we can combine with the cornstarch, you can combine with the sorghum. So any 2 3 combinations what we are thinking, so that time we can think about our nutritional value of this source also. So that product will be not only the gluten free, but it will be the nutrition rich also. So it will be beneficial for the not only the celiac disease people, but for the common peoples too. So since we are thinking that the One is the playing with the source floors. Second thing is to developing the product or thinking about on the how what we can do is the with respect to hydrocolloids. So what is the use of this hydrocolloids is that it can be utilized to mirror the viscoelastic properties of the gluten. That means what properties we are getting from the gluten that we can get from these hydrocolloids. These are the additives, mainly the gums, which give the viscosity texture similar to the starches, which can be used alone or in combination. Okay, in our paper also you can find the guar gum and the xanthan gum combination is there. In many papers you can find that 2-3 combinations there are there, because if you singly added the single thing, no, we are not getting the particular structure, and it will result into the reverse structure of that one. So we can control, we can combine 2-3 things, so if there's less limit we can get the better results. Okay, so it gives the viscosity, firmness, okay, which is mainly, suppose in case of the pastas we can think about the that particular cohesiveness, okay, that particular adhesiveness, or you can say the particular bite that we can get with the addition of these additives, that means particularly hydrocolloids of the gums. So this is the particularly whole, there are the various papers which where you can say that the how the peoples are working at least last 5 to 10 years. If you go through that one you can find that the numbers are more. So you can set the one example, you can say that in case of the cake, so main aim is to get the best quality of that cake. So you can see that the when this is particular by tambon and ATAL. So the xanthan gum and guar gum is mainly used as the hydrocolloids with the flours like rice, cassava and potato starch with the additives, okay, other shortenings and emulsifiers. So main aim was to get the main cake. So you can see that the cake is also how much sensitive. Okay, you if you said it is too much, if it is too much flat, you will not accept it. तुम्ही म्हण. Hello, hello, are you getting my voice or not?
Yes, sir. Voice is there, sir. Continue, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. Okay, so you can see that the we can get the desired effect. So cake is so much sensitive. You can see the if you change the brand and if you change the shop also, we will not accept the cake. But right now we are preparing the cake which will be without wheat. So that time it is more sensitive to work. So you can get the up to 0.5 percentage of xanthan gum and guar gum. He has got the results. Similarly, you can see that the cake has been developed using the rice flour and the inward syrup, and xanthan gum and tarragon gum is used. So up to 0.5% tarragon gum and the 1% xg is used. Okay, similarly muffin can be also developed using the combinations of the rice flour with the xanthan gum. Okay, so you can say at the it is helpful, you can say the main aim was to develop the its nutritional value, increase the better viscosity. So all the properties are getting when we are thinking at that there is addition of the hydrocolloids. Okay, similarly another example we can take about the biscuits. Okay, so we want what we want is the we want the particular texture, we want the improved flavor. All these things can be that we can get by the combination of the buckwheat flour with the guar gum. Okay, the level is 1%. Similarly, you can see that about the one example is the again pasta. You can see that the rice flour with the guar gum. Okay, so 2.5% is optimized and 1.5% sir. So you can get that particular adhesiveness, particular sensory properties, particular bite of that pasta. Okay, when we are using this guar gums with this type of the flours. Okay, so again in case of the rice flour also we can again we can think about the utilization of the broken rice flour or the brown rice flour. Again you can have the various properties or nutritional values you can get. So we are trying for the gluten-free food, but we are also keeping in mind that the how we can give the nutritional rich food so that it will be beneficial to the all the people also. Okay, so here you can find that the hydrochloride used in particular with respect to bread. Okay, so agarose, guar gums, pectins, xanthan gums. So there are the various hydrochloride that can be used, which will be helpful to give the particular. Again, you can set the bread. It should be that means there should be the increase in the low volume, because we are not using the wheat, gluten is not there, which is actually trapping the gas and increasing the low volume. Right now we are missing that gluten and adding other sources where that is gluten is not there. But when we want to get the increased low volume, we can add the agarose. Okay, so which is increasing the low volume and decreasing the uniformity of the crumb. Okay, so similarly you can find with the other. See here, pectin increase gum porosity, xanthan gum good crumb structure. So various research are there. Here you can find at the development and the research 1989, even it is 1974, 89, 2000. Earlier you have shown the 2018, right now also 2021. So you will have the so many papers. So continuously development is there, where the people are working how we can give the completely gluten free food, but it should be there. That means whatever we are eating, that whole option should be available for the celiac disease people too. Okay. So this is the with respect to typical how it is developed. So one example I has given, this is with respect to development of the bread. So typically in case of the bread, the various ingredients, these are mixed. Okay, these are rest. Then these are divided and mold into pan. Then proofing is there, baking, and it is packed. So similarly, we are getting the results, but instead of wheat, we are using the gluten-free flours along with the other ingredients like water, salt, sugar, and here instead of wheat flour, we are using the gluten-free flour, but we are adding the hydrochlorides. Otherwise, yeast is there, everything commons are there, but what our problem is with the wheat flour, so we are adding the gluten-free flour, but we will miss its texture. So for that purpose, we are adding the hydrochlorides. Otherwise, rest story is the same. Okay. So this is just now we are seen about the hydrochlorides. So there are the various ways how to develop the gluten-free foods. Like one more is the enzyme treatment. Okay, so enzymatic treatment of the gluten-free batters. So there is when there is in this again this is paper where there is addition of the trans-glutaminase along with the SPMC. So this is used to develop the gluten. So you can say that there is the improvement in the elastic, viscous behavior, high specific volume, and soft crumbs. So enzymely treated batter is used to prepare the gluten-free products. Likewise, you can see that the other things can be also think about. You can see that these are the other enzymes, okay, or the proteins that can be utilized to get the what we require in the case of the bread making. Okay, transglutamase to get the improvement in the rheological properties, glutathione increase the low volume, protease increase of the low volume. So alternative enzymes can be used, which will help us to give the properties of the glutens. So likewise, we have seen that the what alternative. So we can go for the high pressure processing technology. Okay, so we need to go up to 600 megapascal when it is observed that there is decrease of the specific volume and even you are getting the bread quality. This is the research part, because it is again for the smaller other foods also, but this HPP technology also helping to get the desired effect in this case. Okay, so similarly you can think about the what are the different other bakery products. Okay, so you can say these are the main sources of the any cake, cookies. Okay, but when we want to avoid the gluten, that time we can use the other alternative sources. Okay, so particular with respect to development of the cookies or the doughs, what we can use is the rice flour. Okay, with the other additives, you can see that the we are getting the same results, or the since we're talking about cookies, so spread ratio is the important one. Okay, since we have the food technologists, so we know that the for each product there are the particular criteria which we taken care, which we take care. So in case of the cookies, our important criteria are the with respect to spread ratio, specific volume, its hardness, its diameter. Okay, so all the desired levels, all the what we expect that we are getting when we are using the gluten-free flour with the particular hydrocolloids or other additives. Okay, here you can say that the CMC is used with the rice flour and the buckwheat flour. Okay, and which will ultimately increase to the that. Okay, so since we can say that the continuously efforts are there, you will find that the even though it is that the still you can find the some sort of the limitations will be there, because gluten is gluten. To get that texture, continuously improvement is necessary. Okay, so these are the various papers where we can find that the what are the different combination that can be utilized. Okay, so like this one also with respect to soya flour, use of the soya flour. Okay, mixing of the rice flour with the tapioca starch. Okay, which is increasing the cake specific volume. Okay, soft cake crumb, rice maize combination with the xanthan gum. Okay, so this is the with respect to development of the muffins. Again, you can find that the combinations. Okay, so as we see that the we can think about the what alternative we can use to get the properties of the gluten, and there again we need to think about the what is the additives. So brown rice flour, here they are used with the apple pomace flour. Okay, and getting the results. So now, like the bakery products, we can think about the what are the other products. So like pasta is one of the example. Like noodles is one more important, which is mostly like if you see the this China's and all these countries, there that is their day-to-day food. So there you can find that the so many research is required in that case, or you can find the research also. So in case of the noodles of the pasta, in conventional pasta, you can find that the protein is the main thing, which is the glue, which is binding the structure of the pasta. Okay, so that we want, but we are missing in case of the gluten-free pasta. Okay, because that starch, that glue is not there. So we need to think about one how we can give that structure. So we can use the this rice various flours like rice flour. In in our case, this is gluten-free pasta. So in that case, our combination was that the brown rice flour or the broken rice flour, then soybean was there, soya flour was there, then still improvement was there by using the banana matured banana flour. Okay, so these are the combinations, and in each case, when while going through that one, we have the various hydrochlorides. Again, there are the various combinations were there. Then based on the sensor analysis, all the texture analysis, then one particular levels were find out like 1% Hg, then 2% xanthan gum, all this or the guar gum, all this optimization was taken care, and I could get the particular texture of the pasta like one. Likewise, the various products are developed in the gluten-free pasta. So this is with respect to gluten-free pasta. So milling, sieving is the main part while developing the whole rice bran flour. Mixing is the thing where we can play or where we can combine various things, and we can add the that required combinations with the required hydrochlorides. Otherwise, the rest process is same for the gluten-free pasta or regular pasta. Like mix resting for half a minute, then cold extrusion, then drying, followed by the packaging. Okay, so here you can see that the what are the different combinations. Okay, soya flour, chana flour, sorghum flour, and additives what they have used is the whey protein concentrate, guar gums, and HPMC. Here you can find the rice flour, resistant starch, propylene glycol, rice flour, cornstarch. Okay, so you even can use the corn flour with the dry powder. Okay, Now, in this case, what are the different hydrochlorides? HG, xanthan gum, then guar gums, catosans, HP, hydroxyl propyl methyl cellulose. Okay, so tobacco starch, so these are the various hydrochlorides that can be used to get the desired effect, and we can definitely get the desired effect like proteins, which can be used, milk proteins, egg proteins, whey proteins, that can be used to improve the pasta texture and the cooking quality. In case of the enzymes, we can use the transglutamates. Okay, and what are the alternative new options of the technological options is the extrusion cooking process, which helps us to increase the firmness, texture, and the flavor. Okay, and improve cooking quality. Okay, and even you can say the high drying temperature methodology. Okay, so there are the various ways. So new techniques can be used for the n number of the gluten-free products like enzymatic approach. Okay, so what is enzymatic approach? It is nutrient utilization of the proteolytic enzyme to detoxify the gluten by cleaving the peptide bonds which is next to proline glutamine residues with the action of the PEPs, that means polyendopeptides. Okay, then another technique is the sourdough fermentation. Okay, so what is sourdough fermentation? Is the mixture of the flour and the water which is fermented with the starter cultures like the lactic acid bacteria and the yeast, which ultimately give the that particular gluten based foods. And another technique is the high pressure technology. Okay, where we can range from 100 to 1000 megapascal, and there will be the starch gelatin swelling and gelatinization, and it will give the texture of the gluten based food. But whole thing depends upon that what pressure we are working, at what temperature we are working. So these last three slides are mainly from the, you can find the, there are, it is not the only this, there are the various courses are various things are also available. So this is particular from the Professor H.N. Mishra from the IIT. So from that one also you can get more information. So this particular, these three slides are mainly from their presentation, their video. Okay, so likewise we can think about the how we can help the people, how we can catch the market, and uh, how we can develop the food technologies to solving the problem of the uh, people. Okay, so it is not the only case of the development of the gluten free pasta, but we can get the development of the various nutrition rich food also. So you can see that this is the multigrain pasta. So this is one of image, there is no relation with any type of the company name already there, but this is one of multigrain pasta. So you can see that in this case they have utilized rice, jowar, chana, corn, and rajgira. Okay, so you can see that the how much nutrition things we can get. One way we are helping the celiac disease people, but in another way we are in improving the this source, improving that particular product. So by using the various materials, so you can say that it is rich in fiber, 100% veg, and using the all types of the proteins. Okay, so this can be not only the gluten free pasta, but we will call it as the multigrain pasta, nutrition rich pasta. Likewise, this is the bread. So this is not only the for the celiac people, but we can see that there are the multigrain, since we have seen that the various combinations are we can try. So based on that one we can develop the products. So even in the market also we are putting, so instead of just putting as the bread, we can put as the gluten free nutrition rich food. So both way 100% market is there, because all 1% are the celiac disease people, but 99% are the non-celiac. They can enjoy this nutrition rich food. Likewise, this is the gluten free cookies. So thing is that the not only the gluten market is there, but we want to develop the nutrition rich food products also. So thank you very much for your patience listening, because I was thinking that the how much time it will take our. So thank you very much for your patience listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. I.S. Udachan sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge with the participants.
Thank you, sir.
Now presentation is over and now topic is open for the question and answers. Please, participants, do you have any doubts or queries? You can put your queries in the chat box.
So there is one question with respect to FSI. So you can say as you are using the natural sources, if you go to that website, there is less limitations or no limitation as such. But while when developing that products, you can say we can optimize at 1.5% or 1% because when we increase the hydrochlorides too much on particular, so that is giving the negative effect to that products. Okay, so again you can find that even the limit is not there, but or not more than that one, we need to optimize at the less level. Is there any data that celiac disease developed at later stage in life? I mean in the senior citizens. Celiac disease is for the senior peoples. Wheat allergy is for the what as per that website I got to that one. So that was particular from one particular doctor was there. So in that case, wheat allergy is for the younger or the kids, but celiac disease mainly for the later peoples. Okay, the in maybe in senior citizens. So at any stage it may come. How far gluten-free products are there? So, sir, what you can say is there are so many products since in our India, you can say that so many products are there which we can consume as the gluten-free products, but particular stamping and all these things we will find if you go to the this good number if you go to the metro cities or if you see the market globally market, if you go to the this products there you are saying that the stamping is right now necessary. They are also thinking in by the what is our logic, they are putting the gluten free if they are not using any gluten source, so that they are following the rules of the FDI or the FSI, as well as they are catching the market also, and they are helping to the nutrition by supplying the food which is nutrition rich. Okay, I think this attendance link is already shared or not. It is shared already shared. Okay, so that is the main question everywhere, so that is there. Okay, one more time I can post. Anything else is there, you can just ask me.
Thank you very much, Dr. I.S. Udachan, sir. Just I will summarize his session. Uh, Sir has focused so many angles related to the gluten-free products. He has told about the gluten-free and its sources of the different products, that is especially the bakery products and snacks products. Also, he has explained about the gluten and its structure, some side effects of the gluten on the human health. Also explained about the gluten tolerance, wheat allergens, use of and the correlation of the celiac disease. Certain regulatory aspects also highlighted by sir about the gluten-free products, some the current status and future potential of the gluten-free product, gluten-free diet, natural sources, etc. And also, sir has suggested some alternatives, as if you are not able to consume the uh, more gluten, then there are certain alternatives are also available. Overall, if we see the the big issue about the allergens, and it is one of the major health issue about the consumption of the gluten free, but there are certain misconception, and definitely from these all the discussed points, many of us just clear about the gluten free product and their potential, and whatever the misconceptions in our mind, that might be the resolved. So with this, I'm again very much thankful to sir for sparing his valuable knowledge and time with us for said faculty development program. And definitely from his knowledge, uh, the fraternities and all the participants, definitely they can get an opportunity to work on this kind of the topics, and they can include this knowledge domain in their in future teaching and research process. Yes, Abhijit Gatade, sir, do you have any query? Please ask, sir.
Thanks. Thank you
It's
very much,
not a
sir.
query. I think I just need to add into it. I think Iranna sir will agree that we work in a both fields,
Yeah,
pasta and noodles.
yeah,
So I
definitely.
was just going through the chat box. I just saw some few questions.
Yeah,
So in that just only I need to highlight. Say
okay.
so many of them have asked regarding the onset of celiac disease in senior citizen.
Yeah,
Say the celiac disease will get onset at any time. You won't be able to understand whether it will happen or not. So it's not like that at a particular age only it will happen. It will onset at any time.
yeah.
So the thing is that again, one has asked whether the products are believable or not. Say, not always we have to go for gluten-free products. That is our consideration because you have to check whether you have celiac disease, gluten intolerance or not. You need to go into antibiotic testing or antibody testing. So if you are dealing with that disease, then only we just recommend you to go for celiac disease because if you are neglecting certain components which we were taking previously, like gluten, eventually something may happen in your body. Your body will just start to resisting certain things. So we are not recommending everyone to go for
Gluten
gluten
free.
free diet. That is the main concern. So we just have to think a lot about it.
Yes, yes.
That's
So
one
that is
side.
what I'm saying. There is no need of any panic. There is no need of changing, and there is no need of any style making because if you see that because immediately there are the people right now. What is happening in the this abroad? No, sir, that is just that means fashion style. They are just preparing the gluten. If you are having the issues with the celiac disease because that level is still very less, 1%, but if it is there then that time it can be used. We are working as a research, and secondly we are as a food technologist. If such things are there, we can provide such type of the foods to them. And secondly, we can develop the not only this that particular gluten free food, we can think as the nutrition rich food which is too much available in our India, as a source that we can utilize at the market as the raw materials to the as a market for the what is required in the abroad. But definitely don't think that the all we are suffering from the celiac. If it is then only we can go for the particularly only gluten free food, otherwise we can enjoy everything. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abhijit Gatare, sir, for your valuable inputs. Any more question from the audience, please? I
Okay.
think afternoon session is quite difficult to manage because all of us you have taken the very good food at in the afternoon, and after that listening the speaker it is quite difficult. Even though you have patiently listened the whole session, and definitely it will useful for your future.
So thank you very much, Dr. Kai sir.
Yeah, please, Dr. Ravindra Kare, sir.
It is nice to hear you from Dr. Iranna. It was a really nice session.
And thank you very much, sir. All of because of all of your supports, we can manage the whole event, and in that one, I can put my lecture and I can prepare that purpose. And even while doing all this work, also that time all the so many people were with us. Like Lokan sir is there, Dr. Ikesau is my guide. He is there. Abhijit is there. The friends like you are there. So because of that one, everything is there. Thank you very much for everything.
On behalf of our department, in future also we will conduct the such kind of the events from the all the participants, and with your kind support, definitely we will in future definitely we will connect with the another events too.
And
So thank you very much for everyone
And
for the patient listening.
additionally, even though participants are there, I am also participant for other FDP and right now coordinator. So many participants are there. They are enriched with so many knowledge in their field. So we can have the interaction and we can make another FDP also based on this one, because it is the give and take. It is not that means right now you are participant, next time I am participants. So each time more than this attendance and all these things, what important or what we can convey is this type of the interactions with each other, so that we can develop ultimately ourselves, our nation and everything. So thank you very much. Tomorrow morning we will meet by 10 a.m. Okay. Thank you very much. So we'll stop right now with permission of Dr. Lokhande sir.
Thank you very much for everyone for listening. And once again, I'm very much thankful to the Dr. I.S. Udachan sir for giving such an informative session.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.